Welcome back, out-of-body explorers. Russi back. I'm going to talk about how to set up boundaries for your out-of-body exploration practice. So let's go. Today we're going to talk about how to set up your boundaries in your out-of-body exploration practice. And one of them is understanding what are boundaries. Your boundaries are your safety measures, what you're allowing to come into your system. What are your beliefs? And a lot of this has to do with how you live your life during the day. How are your boundaries set up during your day? So this may be very difficult. If you're that kind of person that's letting people step in on you and disrespect you and you're not calling them out, it's going to be very hard because your personality isn't different. You are literally jumping out of your body with the same personality. You want to be somebody else? Yes, you can be that somebody else. But the practice gets stronger when you decide to set up those boundaries in your waking world. And I'm going to give you an example, and basically I always go back to my book. And in my book, there is a progression. And now I put out two other videos. This video and this video. Okay? So basically we are at stage 3. And now the other two videos were explaining where it started for me, where it started in the room, where they were tugging on my hand to wake me up and blah, 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 you know. So this video is about the setting the boundaries, but I am going to read right out of my November 7th, 2001. It was a Wednesday. And what's really interesting is I knew I was already out, but because I did this game where the alarm would go off and I'd say, give me 5 more minutes. Back in the day, I would just turn my alarm off and I would give myself 5 minutes because my snooze button was somebody in the room tugging at my ankle. So I'd say, wake me up in 5 more minutes, just tug. And they would either tug my ankle or tug my wrist. I allowed that because that was my alarm system. Now here's what happened on November 7th, 2001. I gotta get my glasses. Hold on one second. All right. So I end up saying, in this one, I'm lying on my stomach and someone was holding onto my ankles. I couldn't go anywhere. And so it started to bother me. And this morning there were 2 men, I wrote 2 guys wanting to meet me, and I wouldn't allow it in this out of body. I refused to talk to them. Finally, I gave in and I spoke to one of them and I said, you know what? I'm waiting for somebody else. And I was like, why would I say that? And they were like, really? And they walked away. But when I woke up, I realized, who the hell was in my room? Now, back then, I had no idea that I did not set up boundaries. I let everything come in because I know this was a God nature, or I believed in God and He was always putting me in these situations, and I trusted all these things. But then when I realized, I was like, wow, I just had 2 men in my room, and I kind of was like, you can't do that. And so I learned to put a boundary line onto that. And I did not allow that because then I realized these people were not here on this dimension. They were dead. That's right. So basically, I had to figure this out all on my own because I was pretty much a closet psychic where I did not want to know this ability. But this is one very big important part. If you are not ready to do all this, because you will meet people that are not on this dimension, meaning they have crossed over, died, you name it. You need to be ready because once you open up that door, you are allowing that to come in. And this is where everybody gets very fearful. It's like the mob.
That's when I thought I was out. They pulled me back in.
So on that progression, do not allow those energies into your room. That is very important in the process of you understanding this. And now you have to think about this. Do not allow those people in your bedroom. And that means if you already have that kind of energy that's not comfortable with you in this 3D world that you're living now, then you need to reevaluate that relationship that you're sleeping with, or whatever's happening in this waking world. You need to reevaluate it, and you really need to put safety zones and boundaries for you alone. So my bedroom is a safe place, and there are certain things that I believe should be in there, but I am at a different level. I do allow those people to come in if I know the energy is needing to talk to me, but only on certain situations. But I have great stories to tell you about things that I did not expect to come in my room, and I was like, what? So not to scare you, I'm just reminding you, set up your boundaries, and like I said, set up your boundaries in your waking world and set up your boundaries in your sleeping world. Until I catch you in the next video, press like and subscribe. Enjoy!